Focal Online TV is located within a Tobo Village community along the Japanese Highway.
Tell me more about the platform.
This platform, called Focal Online TV Daily Edition of Inside the Print Media, does not encourage any form of dialogue between the viewers and the presenters.
Oh, you mean nobody calling there?
No, you can't call on a show. Let me talking out like when we're no calling there. So all you can do is you will listen to the news, and they can also encourage you to buy the newspaper to listen to the news in details.
But do you do viewer recognition at times?
Oh yes, we do viewer recognition. When you are watching, we notify you, and sometimes we even appreciate you on a show, telling you thank you for always following us. We also encourage you to share the live stream, because the more you share the live stream, we transform and we transition ourselves as a
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are watching us from. Welcome to Focal Online TV. Welcome to the daily edition of Inside the Print Media, here with your presenter, Finan Karishwar. This morning, we have a lot to talk about as we get towards our electoral process come tomorrow, which is Tuesday, November 14. So this morning, I'm just going to be bringing to you briefly a short news. I'm going to be bringing to you two top stories from different platform, and hoping that we could get the next time we could bring more to you, and then later on we can bring to you the importance of our election. So stay with me as I take this short break. I'm experiencing some technical defaults in studio here. The minute I get back, we start with our news. But today we're going to be bringing you news from just the Daily Observer newspaper. So kindly stay with me. Don't forget, this is the daily edition of Inside the Print Media. This is where we bring informative information to you relating to our country, Liberia, and the world at large. Today is really, really crucial. So we're going to be discussing issues relevant to our country electoral process. Thanks so much, and I'll be right back shortly after this break. Thank you.
Hello dear, my name is K. Lyndon Toba. I'm in search of a platform where I can get credible information of our daily happenings in Liberia and the world at large.
Hello, K. Lyndon Toba. My name is Finan Karishwar. Haven't you heard about Focal Online TV?
You say Focal Online TV?
Focal Online TV is located within a Tobo Village community along the Japanese Highway.
Tell me more about the platform.
This platform, called Focal Online TV Daily Edition of Inside the Print Media, does not encourage any form of dialogue between the viewers and the presenters.
Oh, you mean nobody calling there?
No, you can't call on a show. Let me talking out like when we're no calling there. So all you can do is you will listen to the news, and they can also encourage you to buy the newspaper to listen to the news in details.
But do you do viewer recognition at times?
Oh yes, we do viewer recognition. When you are watching, we notify you, and sometimes we even appreciate you on a show.
Welcome back, folks. Welcome back to the daily edition of Inside the Print Media this morning. And I'm kind of excited to be here today because, today is one of the important days during the course of the week. So today is Monday and today is a working day. And I'm happy that I have you all here to inform you. So there's this trending story that's been circulating on the different social media platforms. And luckily for us, is in our news today. And this is from the Daily Observer newspaper, where we have government reports Ghanaian IT expert for lack of resident permit. This man was brought in and he was sent here to help educate the people in a rural area how to cast that forward and how to do a lot more. And he was working on that with the Unity Party. But all of a sudden, this man went missing. This man went missing, and they couldn't find him. Luckily, they sent him. They sent him out of the country. They sent him back to his country. They deported him, and they said because he doesn't have a work permit, that's the reason why. But this government, the CDC government, is is doing too much. Let me just say, and there's a need that they understand that our peace in our country matters. And when you are dealing with foreigners out of Liberia, you have to be really really careful in how you do things. I mean, he could have been at a station where you file in your case or you report him, and then the justice system or the police can rather take that decision. But in so doing, they did what they wanted to do, and all of a sudden they just deported him in. So this is the story. Opposition Unity Party outrage over the action, terming it a violation of ECOWAS free movement protocols. In the lead up to the presidential runoff election in Liberia, controversy has arisen surrounding the deportation of Solomon Essen Jr., a Ghanaian IT expert who was hired by the opposition Unity Party to provide training for its poll workers and election observers. Essen was assisting in training the party's observers on how to efficiently report real-time election results. However, tensions escalated when the Liberian government arrested the IT expert, accusing him initially of malicious intention. The country's joint security said in a statement on Saturday, November 11, that the decision to remove him was made after a joint security investigation revealed that he had entered Liberia without the required residence and work permits, which is in violation of Liberia's Alien and Nationality Law and the Decent Work Act of 2015. According to the law, foreigners traveling to Liberia must obtain residence and work permits before engaging in any employment activities within the country. Isen, the government said, was arrested in Rivergy County and questioned about the nature of his work. When he failed, this is what the news said, when he failed to produce the necessary permits, the government initiated the removal process and coordinated with the Ghanaian embassy near Monrovia to facilitate his return to his home country, the statement said. While it is believed that Mr. Isen arrived in Liberia for a contracted job, he should have followed the procedures outlined in the labor and immigration laws. The joint security emphasizes that their action was taken under the law and without prejudice, aiming to ensure that foreigners traveling to Liberia adhere to established procedure. The opposition Unity Party has strongly condemned the government's action, insisting that the IT consultant had been hired solely for legitimate purposes related to election training and observer support. They assert that the accusations against him are baseless and politically motivated. So yes, this is from the Unity Party. Like I said, this man went missing later on. All of a sudden, he was reported into his country, and I think it's wrong on the end of the government, as you have been done earlier. And besides, he's a ECOWAS worker. He worked in line with ECOWAS and a lot more. So there should have been a need to take things at a different level than the way the government portrayed themselves. There are certain things we have to understand in our country like Europe. There are certain decisions you take it because you still frame as a country and you are a leader. There are certain things you don't just do because you get emotional, you want to do it, or because you feel it's going against your government, so you just go ahead and do it. And this man went missing for a very long time, I think 2 or 3 days, and they were insisting Unity Party and Edward's body. Even his lawyer insisted that if anything happened to him, they want to see his living body, and a lot more went on. So if you have problem, if you held him in custody, it should have been communicated, but you make it to look like this man was at a particular place. You held him at a particular place, or because what is the main reason? What is the motive? Is it to say that in Liberia you don't have foreigners working in this country, or they are not working with NGOs in other places? And the thing about it, if foreigners are working with NGOs and other companies, it's kind of different because they usually have a work permit. But you have foreigners in our country who don't even have work permits, who have in stores and other things. You don't take issue with it. Or because this man is coming to help educate others, and then you like it's bad. You don't want it because you want to be the winning champion. So you just go ahead and just like do whatever he wants to do because you are in authority, which is totally bad. I think this government needs to come to a point of realizing that this is Liberia, and what needs to be done is the right thing. I think that is what he has to do. So we will take this last one. CDC Koji Molu breaks U.S. sanctions. So this is important. CDC Koji Molu breaks U.S. sanctions as U.S. embassy calls out ruling party official for undermining democracy. The United States Embassy near Monrovia is considering the option of imposing sanctions on more top officials from Liberia's ruling coalition for democratic change (CDC). This comes after CDC Chairman Moluba Molu, and Secretary General Jefferson Koji accused Councillor Oscar Bloch, chairperson of the Election Coordinating Committee (ECC), of supporting the opposition Unity Party. During a press conference, Koji presented a video which he claimed showed Bloch and Bapolu County Senator-elect Amara Coney strategizing on behalf of the Unity Party for the upcoming runoff election. Koji claimed that Bloch, who is supposed to be a neutral figure as a civil society practitioner, was coordinating the Unity Party's election efforts. However, Kochi did not provide any evidence to support his claim that Bloch is afflicted with the Unity Party. We have written to the international community, the U.S. Embassy, in particular to USAID, about an individual who is masquerading as a civil society practitioner, Koji said. He is a card-carrying partisan of the Unity Party and has received money from the US government, deceiving them under the guise of a civil society practitioner. Oscar Bloch, who is supposed to be neutral, is the Unity Party war room, coordinating the Unity Party election. What is he doing in the Unity Party war room? Additionally, CDC Chairman Molu wrote to the U.S. Embassy in USAID calling for ECC assistance to be canceled based on the alleged connection between Bloch and the Unity Party. Contrary to these allegations, the ECC, a coalition for pro-democracy civil society organization, issued a statement clarifying that the video was fake and that the person depicted was not Oscar Bloch. Local voices of fact-checking organizations supported by the U.S. Embassy also confirmed that the individual in the video was not Bloch. In a statement released on Friday, November 10, the U.S. Embassy expressed concern over the spread of misinformation and disinformation by Kochi and Molu, viewing it as an attempt to impair election observation efforts and undermine democracy in Liberia. This is one reason why I support the U.S. Embassy a whole lot in our country, Liberia. They don't just do things because they want to do it. They make sure they investigate, and when they investigate you are wrong, they take measures. These are things that need to start. Jefferson Koji, Moluba Molu, these are people who are having a rank in our country, Liberia. They are having a good status. When I talk about status, they hold a good position in our country. So when you come up to say something, you should have some claims. You should have some evidence to your claims. Rather, you should be able to put these things down and give a justifiable reason or have witnesses to these things. Or because when you made up a video and you show it and you just started some more repetition, or because you felt something is going on, or you feel the person is in line because of this one election process, this is what the U.S. Embassy will surely take action and these people need to come to a point of realization, and they should realize that these things they are doing is totally wrong. So this is just it. So if you are watching me, kind of make use of our comment section. Of course, I will now dive into the election process for tomorrow and what voters should know. This is from the Data Observer newspaper. Like I said, we'll just be on Data Observer today. Run off what voters should know. So the Liberia National Election Commission announced that the electoral process for the runoff election will take place November 14, 2023, as a day aside, right? As a day aside for a runoff because the two leading candidates, President George Manneh Weah and former Vice President Joseph Yuma Boaga, did not reach or did not get 50 threshold for winning the first round. Unlike October 10 polls, where more over 2.4 million Liberians assemble to elect a president, vice president, and a lot more. So you see that during that time in October, 88 members of their legislature were going to election, 73 representatives and 15 senators. So this time, only two candidates will be going in the election process, or will be going and seeking that presidency position. So there'll be two different political parties that will be on the ballot paper. You will see they have the Unity Party and they have the CDC. Of course, on the previous one that took place in October, you had Joseph Boaga, who was on Second Street at that time in October. So this time around, he's being placed on at number one. You will see Joseph Yuma Boaga, and Jeremiah Coon. And then the next person you will see is George Manneh Weah and Her Excellency Joel Howard Taylor at the second bottom. So on that sheet, you'll be able to cast your vote for whom you want to cast your vote for. So the total of over 500 polling stations will be set up across the 15 political subdivisions of the country. So there'll be 5,000 polling stations being set up all across the 15 political subdivisions. That is the 15 counties in our country, Liberia. So voting start again at 8 a.m. Voting start at 8 a.m. Voting process close at 6 p.m. These stations will be staffed by polling officials or polling officers who are trained by NEC to manage the voting process. So when you get to the polling, when you get to the center where you're going to cast your vote, you're going to see networkers. You're also going to be seeing observers as well. So each station caters to a specific number of registered voters. Each station cater to a specific number of registered voters, which should not exceed 3,000. As per the Liberia election law, the location of polling station is made public in advance. That, of course, you know. So there will be only one type of ballot paper given to each voter at every polling place for presidential and their vice candidate. Like I said, there will be only one this time around. The one ballot paper you see, some will be at the top, some will be beneath. So number one is Joseph Yuma Boaga, number two is George Manneh Weah. You receive a paper and you see a box. So in that box, you have to cast a vote. This time around, you're not going for senator, you're not going for representative. Of course, you know why we are not going, because we are done with it. Those who won, they have already been announced. So there's no need. So transparent boxes will be used. Of course, the same box we used this one time will be used. This time around, I'm not seeing anything of color because we don't have the representative and senator. So it's only one. So transparent boxes will be used, allowing election observer and political party observers or agents to see the ballot papers being cast. This helps those who are observing. This helps the election staff to be able to cast their vote and see what they are actually doing. This measure will assist in detecting tempered ballot boxes. All sealing and unsealing of ballot boxes take place in the presence of observers, including political party agents, of course. So specifically or especially, number seals are used on the ballot boxes. These seals numbers are recorded upon opening and closing of the polling and upon reopening when the count begins. Empty ballot box at polling places are sealed in the presence of political party agents before the commencement of the polls. The secrecy of the vote is maintained by voting screens. The secrecy of your vote are maintained by voting screen behind which a voter mark their ballot. Ballots are provided in packs of 550 ballots. Each pack contains 11 packs of 50 pieces. With unique serial number, all polling places must account for all ballots. Ballot issue must equal ballot cast. Ballot issue must equal ballot cast. These are things we ought to know. How do people vote? The voting will start at 8 a.m. and will end at 6 p.m. One thing you have to do is you have to make sure you have your voting identification card and go to the same place where you vote or where you voted on October 10, 2023 to vote in the presidential runoff. The same room that you went to. For example, if you live within a New Georgia, New Georgia estate, and there's another polling place, Wedding Gabriel Cole, there's another one, Bishop Miller, there's another one, Christina Bidel. If you went to Christina Bidel and you was in room one, for example, or you was in classroom one, go back to that same place. There where you cast your vote. The only thing you need to do, go with your identification card, your voter identification card. I didn't say citizen card, ID card. I said voter identification card. You go and cast your vote. So when you reach to the center, show your voter ID card or your voting ID card to the NEC staff and stand behind the last person on the line. This is what we ought to do. No need for us to be in rush. When you get to that particular place, go stay on the line. When you show your voter identification card, you stand on the line. When you're standing on the line, you have to kind of ask who's the last person on the line so it does not cause conflict. So you stand on the line and you go and pass your vote. Only people with special needs, such as physical and virtually impaired, senior citizens, pregnant women, and young baby mothers will be assisted to stand in the line. I hope you get that right. People who have health issues, people who are senior citizens, senators, presidents, former presidents, our immediate president, our president will come if elected, Joseph Yuma Boaka as well. You have other stakeholders, you have ministers, you have representatives, you have the army, you have those who are in the army. Partly they might go to that center to cast their vote if they are spending time with their family as well. So you have to respect them a whole lot. So give your ID card and NET staff so that they can check on the final registration roll for your name and photo. You will be given only one ballot paper for the runoff. So when you get there, when you stand on the line, you go in the room, you have to give your ID card and then they will check for the same thing that happened. They check on the FRR to see whether your name and photo are of the same. And then you will be able to cast your vote. You will only receive one ballot paper for the runoff. How to mark the ballot papers? There are 3 ways to mark the ballot papers. You must mark with a pen using a check mark, or an X for failure, an X, or with a thumbprint. So 3 ways. You either put check sign, let's say passing mark, or you either put a failure mark in the box. It shouldn't go outside. And then you use your thumb. The ink is like this. So most of the time people will use that thumb. Those who are not well educated, let me say that way, they will use their thumb for the process. So even if you are educated and you choose to, it's of no problem. just make sure it's in the box and don't cause anything of invalid fraud. So in the box beside a photo of the candidate, the box beside the photo of the candidate. So you see the candidate picture and then you see another box. Like I said, you check or you use your thumbprint. Okay. So if you mark using a thumbprint, you should wait a moment till the mark dries before folding the ballot papers and placing it in the ballot box. This is important. If you're using your thumbprint, when you mark the paper, make sure it dries up very well before folding the paper to drop it in the box. If you don't do it, it might cause problem with ink. And maybe this is the reason why we have a lot of invalid votes. So yes, that is just it. So counting process, I will now go to it. But this is it. And thanks folks for joining us this morning. We couldn't bring to you all of the top stories because of course we are getting towards the election. Please don't forget to keep the kids at home, make them to do their homework, spend time with your family, avoid all forms of violence. Avoid all forms of violence. If you have stickers or other campaign materials that will cause problem, please take it down. Respect the peace we have within our country, Liberia, and let us continue to move forward. So this is how I say thank you for today, and of course, hopefully, I'll always be here to bring to you this information. My name is Gretchen Karishwa, and it's nice having you today. Remember, Liberia is what we have, Liberia is what we got. So, in order to protect the peace we have within our country, Liberia, we must do away with all forms of violence. Violence comes in all forms. Let us do away with violence so that together we can put a smile on our own faces and we can move our country, Liberia, to another level. Thanks for watching. I love you, and of course, I'm going to be back pretty soon to bring to you another information. Thanks so much.
Hello there, my name is K. Lyndon Toba. I'm in search of a platform where I can get credible information of our daily happenings in Liberia and the world at large.